have reality to be focused on me. I'm on TV. I am a Vidiot.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Vidiot on Demand Halloween Edition. I'm your host, Fillip R.I.P.s. Check it out. This is this year's costume. So, like 4 years ago, a YouTuber by the name of YMS, Your Movie Sucks, he put together a series of videos that chronicled his quote-unquote childhood traumas. And it was stuff that he remembers watching as a kid that really creeped him the F out. He also invited other YouTubers to make videos of their own where they chronicled their most creepy moments in children TV history. I remember watching that and feeling like, man, that is fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a good video. The other videos that came out of it were kind of fun. And I'm 4 years late, aren't I? Yeah. So this is my attempt at that. Enjoy! So basically, all of these are sort of chronological order of the things that really creeped me out that I remember seeing on television, starting with, the 80s. It was an era of excess, enough hairspray to punch a hole in the ozone layer, and Jean-Michel Jarre. It was also famous for being the decade in which I was at my youngest. As a kid, I was pretty normal, perhaps a bit too trusting and naive, but I did mostly what was expected of me. I trusted that the adults knew what was up, so I never went looking for trouble. Because, you know, I'm a scaredy cat. That's just me. I usually found myself watching the safe choice. I would just be chilling and looking at the kiddie shows, not a care in the world. But all of television couldn't be Saturday morning cartoons. No, of course not. Obviously, a lot of other people don't want to watch Dr. Snuggles and Teddy Ruxpin. That's when primetime television came in. Yes! It's that magical time of night when the whole family gets to sit around the TV and watch an action-heavy drama like MacGyver. But imagine if you're sitting there minding your own business, your sister's flipping through the channels, and then suddenly you come across this scene.
Is she normal? Oh, as far as I can see, she's beautiful. Can I see her? Oh, yes. Oh, there you go, Grandpa.
Oh, Rob. Oh, she's beautiful.
This scene was from the sci-fi series V, about an alien invasion. Just look at this! This show is like the most 80s things that ever 80s. The hair, the costumes, Freddy Krueger's in it for Pete's sake. That's not what was scary about it, of course. The aliens are reptilian in nature, which isn't that scary when you look at it now, but this was something I didn't know while watching that scene. It came as such a visceral shock to me. It was so terrifying that when I went to sleep, all I could see was that baby's face and the forked tongue. It was just so unnatural. Ugh. I actually got up in the middle of the night. I was scared, and I went to my mom and dad's room, and I said, "Mommy, Daddy, can I sleep in your bed today?" You know, the classic thing. And my dad, who's a bit irritated, is like, why? What happened? What are you scared of? And I had to explain, there was this thing on TV I saw where this little baby was born and it had like a snake tongue. It was so disgusting. And he's just like, that baby ain't gonna hurt you. Go back to bed. So that was the first time I was denied the safety of sleeping in the bed of my parents at such a young age. So weirdly, that little baby is what made me become a man. Moving on. You guys remember Magnum PI? My gosh, it was Tom Selleck at the peak of his mustachioed power. It centered on a private detective living it up in Hawaii who occasionally had crossovers with Mrs. Potts. His name was Thomas Magnum. Really? Thomas Magnum? That was his real name. I mean, was Tony Beretta taken? What? No, Tony Beretta, because that's ridiculous. Oh. Robert.
Don't mention the real life murder. Don't mention the real life murder. Don't mention the real life murder.
Okay, well, was Richard Glock taken. Whew. Anything that was remotely horrifying was none of my business. But for some shows, they would sneak that stuff in there without warning. Like in this season 7 episode of Magnum PI, where the titular PI is snooping around and finds a World War II era fighter plane crash site. So he suddenly gets pinned down by the plane, and while bleeding out, he desperately fights delirium. But imagine my horror when I saw this.
Help me, Magnum. Help me.
Ah, jeez! You gotta let me know if we're on a date before you show me that vajayjay. This thing was so disturbing that it made me want to rip off my skin and just use it as something to strangle that abomination with. Oh, it's disgusting. And then it transforms into some sort of fly guy. It's just too much, really, it is. The worst part was like this gradual mutation of it. Like it came out of nowhere. Here's a guy talking, then is the middle thing that looks the worst, and then the fly head just ruined my life forever. Remember MTV? Oh man. For you young folk out there, MTV was sort of like if the car radio was being shown on that flat screen in your parents' living room, and every song they played had a video that was sort of like a TikTok, only it overstayed its welcome, and it usually featured millionaires who were quite attractive. In the early days, music videos were very experimental, so what better way to promote your funky synth bop than with the Simone Gertz Expo? So many things about this video is so unsettling. The unnatural movement, the disembodied limbs akimbo. Perhaps worst of all is seeing Sonny from iRobot like very violently discovering himself. It's the kind of thing you can't unsee. I'm an Army brat. I grew up in a military base in Germany, and before you had the internet, you had TV. But what are you gonna watch if everything you want to watch might be dubbed in German? How am I supposed to understand the plot and jokes of the movie Les Visiteurs if nobody's speaking English? If you're not gonna watch something dubbed in German, then you're probably watching AFN. Realizing that some American entertainment was needed for military personnel stationed abroad, Armed Forces Network was created so that you too could catch up on the latest episodes of Friends, like a month later, I guess, and finally get to watch Dumb and Dumber, heavily censored and cut down to a runtime that felt like maybe 30 minutes. They didn't really have commercials, not advertisements as we know them. In fact, they were more like PSAs, really. And boy, they could get preachy.
A little friendly competition boosts the spirit. It's also a chance to enjoy the great outdoors. Don't be an observer, participate. This is AFN Television Europe.
When you're far away, the time between letters can seem like forever.
Somewhere, someone needs to hear from you.
P.S. Write home today.
Sometimes you get a little bit of American history or military history. Fun fact, did you know that in 1835 that President Andrew Jackson actually managed to pay off the national debt, and it was the only time in American history that the country was debt-free. Ding, bling, bling, bling. Everything was like that. And sometimes they just had little infomercials that encouraged you not to be a jackass. Take, for example, this ad where they just try to warn you to mind your surroundings.
I'm gonna have to get my winter gear all checked out and ready right away.
Oh, and I need to cancel some dinner reservations for next week.
We better get going. We got a lot to do and not much time.
No matter where you are, or who you're with, or what you are doing, it's important to watch what you say and do, because you never know when someone else might. Practice good OPSEC, all of the time.
This gave me legit nightmares. And I feel like I only saw it once. And when I think about it, it was even more creepier in my imagination. It's as if the eyes were some sort of special effect that had a bit of an uncanny valley thing going on. And I remember them just kind of floating there. They were just there a beat too long, and it creeped me the F out. But now when I look at it, clearly it's just a dude in a morph suit with the eyes cut out. And then later on, it's like just a guy in makeup. When I think about it, that had to have been a little awkward.
Mr. Stevens, you want it on the set? Hell no.
By the way, while searching for this clip, I also stumbled upon this little gem.
Something monstrous is going on around here. Absolutely monstrous. Valuable electricity is being wasted, and a lot of it, too. Oh, my. It's a nasty problem. But no one seems to know who's doing it. It's not me, they say. Somebody else is wasting electricity. There must be some kind of monster that comes in at night and leaves all the lights and the equipment on. But that's not the way it is. The monster is all in your mind. We are all responsible for it. And think of this. We're all paying for it with our taxes. So, I tell you what. Let's get rid of this monstrous problem. For heaven's sake, use electricity wisely. After all, we're paying for it.
That's a real monster's hand. That is Peter Lorre's actual dead hand that they're puppeting around the set. Just to prove a point. Ugh. But now, of course, when you look at it, it's a little cheesy. I mean, all I can think of is basically, geez, Oscar, don't you have at least one usable tissue in that garbage can of yours? Just clean up after yourself, you know? So far, all of these choices have been something that was, I guess, approved for general audiences, but nothing that was made for kids specifically. Do you guys remember Gargoyles? Oh man, Disney's Gargoyles, that was it. That is definitely a show that deserves a comeback. It's gotta be a live action movie and a series starting today. Please make it happen. It's amazing. And I remember when I was a kid, you could actually buy the pilot episode on VHS. Along with it came a VHS game. I remember one night, my friends and I, my sister, we all decided, like, let's bring some friends over, we're gonna watch this movie. And then we're gonna check out this game, right? We pulled out the little pieces. We have the board, the things, and all the little paper bits and stuff, and all the cards. We're like, yes, we're gonna watch this. And so we sit there, and this happens.
Have you read the game instructions?
Oh, yeah.
Is your game board set up? Good. Then you know that there are 3 sets of action cards, building cards, Demona Wild cards, and Elisa badge cards.
Oh, that's true.
When you land on an action card space, take that card and do what it says. Also, when you land on a subway tunnel, follow the tunnel all the way to the other side. Sometimes you'll shoot forward, sometimes you'll shoot back. A player wins the game by landing on Xanatos' tower with an exact spin. But watch out for the square before it. It'll send you back 10 spaces.
Here it goes. Okay. All right. Cool. So basically, what we're gonna want to do is we take the dice. We're gonna want to do. Really? So wait, whose turn was it? It's my turn, right? I'm gonna. You guys okay with this? Are you guys okay with the music? Because it's You know, I just can't. Basically, yeah, I literally chickened out because the music was so intense. There was something about it that really creeped me out. I mean, let's face it.
But listen to the music, he's evil!
All you 90s kids probably remember what it was like when the teacher would have to wheel in this whole VHS/TV combo into the room. My memory of this video is very vague and very vivid at the same time. Now, if anybody remembers this video, please tell me, because I couldn't find it on the internet. I don't even know how do you even search for this, but please let me know in the comments below. I want to know I'm not the only one who saw this and thought it was weird. So basically, this was my memory of it. You're on a street. It's black and white. It's probably filmed in the 50s or 60s. No way of knowing. There was a narrator who was like talking or saying something, but I, for the life of me, don't remember anything he said. I remember that you're just walking down a street. It's black and white. It seems cold, and you go into a house. and you go into the house, you go up some stairs. You're at the top of the stairs and you turn and you see more stairs that goes up to a door. I don't know if you noticed, but everything I said, while that was going on, flashes of classic monster faces were just one frame, clipping in. It was really freaking bizarre. I remember going, did I just see Dracula? And then you keep looking, and then suddenly Wolfman. I'm genuinely curious to know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, because I kind of feel like I was a part of some sort of scientific experiment that I don't have any recollection of being a part of.
I really can't believe Universal Pictures is actually paying us a buttload of money just to instill fear into this generation kids of their classic movie monsters. I mean, according to this, these test subjects all seem to be suffering from a lack of sleep. We have 3 counts of early onset insomnia, 8 bedwetters, most of whom said that they saw images of Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, even the Wolfman. Oh my gosh. It's actually working, ma'am.
Yes, but is there any mention of the hunchback?
There's no mention of Quasimodo, ma'am. Why?
We need to teach the children that the hunchbacks are monsters.
Oh, hell no!
Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this trip, stumble down Remorse Avenue, my childhood trauma. I hope you enjoyed this. And by the way, I hope you enjoyed this little number I'm rocking. This patch, thankfully, was given to me by a friend. I had it made specifically for me, duh. And I'll give you like the links in the description below of like where you can contact her if you want some cool embroidery done. And thank you. I hope wherever you are in the world, you're safe. Blink once if you would like to subscribe.